This is going to be your next truck because it's such a good deal. I'll include a link to the Doug Smith Rams website in the description down below. They're providing us with this truck. If you have any questions, need any help, just ask for Brad. Let's get right into it. Under the hood is a twin-turbo 3-liter inline six that goes through an 8-speed automatic. Fuel economy is 18 around town, 24 on the highway, with power outputs being 420 horsepower, 468 pound-feet of torque. If you're looking for more unbiased, straight-to-the-point reviews like this, make sure you subscribe. So this package gives you the sport hood on a base truck, which looks absolutely fantastic. And you gotta remember, all the Rams have the LEDs now, so the front end doesn't look like extra basic because it has halogens, for example. The grill's been blacked out, you've got fog lights with this. No recovery points, but we do have parking sensors. And so for the average person, you're not really gonna be able to differentiate this from like a loaded up limited night edition. 275 by 55 by 20 for the tire and wheel setup. The wheels are blacked out. Now, unlike the Bighorn and above, no fender flares on this truck. Got the blacked out Ram badge, side steps, they're just door to door. And then here's your side profile of the truck. It'd probably be cooler if it was like a white truck because then you'd have more contrast, but the gray still works. Here's the next part that I think is pretty cool. You actually have a remote start with this. Of course, the Ram logo there on the back, lock and unlock too. And like most new Rams, it's coil sprung in the rear. Let's now take a quick look at the bed. Dampened. Anyways, we've got tons of space here. No bed liner though. It's one downside about this particular build, but you can always add that after the fact. It's easy. You got the Ram badge there, dual outlet exhaust tip. This can tow about 11,000 pounds because it's got a 3.92 axle ratio. That will cap things off for the exterior of this truck. Let's take a peek at the interior. Regular glass in the back. This is all hard touch plastic, even here as well, but you do have good storage at the bottom. Again, you got those side steps. And then cloth seats. Look at this. Really nice trim there. You do have under seat storage. Now it is not a 60-40 split. It's all or nothing. We also have the buckets on either side with this. Removable. That's nice. Storage pocket here. We've got some cup holders, the vents, a little more storage. And this actually has a power sliding rear window. Let's now take a look at the front. Blind spot monitoring, thicker glass up front. And then again, this is all hard touch here. Front two windows are automatic. You got your mirror adjustments, more storage here at the bottom. Payload capacity on this truck is 1,708 pounds. Cloth seats, now they're gonna be manual with the adjustments. Let's see what getting in's like. Pretty easy. Boom. Now with the steering wheel, we do not have radio controls in the back. It's one downside, but it does have adaptive cruise. Got your gear limiter function, controls for the center. Let's take a look at that center. It is partially analog, partially digital. You can change what is displayed there pretty easily. Backup camera in reverse, it actually has pretty good resolution, got zoom in function there on the receiver hitch. Now this is pretty crisp with the response time. We also have physical buttons here for the radio, single zone climate with this, and then you can see your tow haul, parking sensors, stability control. I don't know why I'm thinking about auto stop start. Well, actually, it's because it's over there. Now let's take a closer look at this. So we've got a part-time four-wheel drive system with a 2-speed transfer case, and yeah, you can turn off that auto stop start if you want. Dial shifter. Some USB ports here. See, this moves, but also we have some storage there. Is there an outlet at the bottom? What the? There's a cubby, but there's no outlet. And then soft touch in the top. Storage above the glove box. That's for the power sliding window. And yeah, no sunroof. 2026 1500 Black Express. And let's see if it, I think it's, yeah, right there, $995 for the Black Express. So like, it's not expensive at all. It's a very good value, I think. $56,075. Let's take this out and see how it performs. Well, let us set off in this Express. I reviewed an Express earlier in the year, but it was the regular one. This one's cooler. Ram democratizing the sport hood. I appreciate it. I think that having a truck that looks cool but is basic on the inside, that's what we need. Now, if only they could give us a real basic price, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's always just insane how expensive these modern vehicles are. As I was saying, I think that it's crazy how expensive vehicles are nowadays, especially, you know, basic type vehicles. And a big part of the reason why they're so expensive is the fully loaded vehicles have a bunch of tech, and manufacturers have found that it's easier to just put the tech in every single vehicle and then just have switches that basically, or you know, software that turns stuff on and off. So you pay for all of the equipment, whether you get the basic one or the loaded up one. Obviously you pay a bigger price tag on the loaded up one, but you're still paying for the physical equipment in the basic one. You just can't use it. Such a strange concept. Like, the world we live in is so weird. Just wasteful in a way. Just because of traffic, I'm gonna have to do an alternate route on this little review. Sometimes happens. I just don't have the time today to sit in a line of cars for 10 minutes just to get like 2 seconds of acceleration on the interstate. Not worth it. Plus I have to go up to Salt Lake after this anyways, and so it's gonna be fun. This is super smooth though. Again, you got the inline. This is the other thing I like about this. This has the inline 6. I'm not a fan of the base V6. You know, I know that a lot of people like the Pentastar because it's been around for a long time and it's tested and this and that and yada 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 yada. It's gutless. It gets okay fuel economy. This new inline 6 has power and it gets pretty much the same fuel economy as you get in the V6 in the real world. So from my perspective, this gives you the best of both worlds, because it's like you get power and you get fuel economy, whereas the base V6 gives you fuel economy, but you got no power. It is just absolutely gutless. This Ford should be moving. Okay, yeah, look at this. That 392 axle ratio, you can break the rear end loose a little bit. It's fun. It is definitely fun. I still hate how they have this lane set up here. It's weird. So, in conclusion, or getting to the conclusion, I suppose, this is really all you need. Do you need heated seats? No, but you can always add them. It's easy to add. And you don't need power. Like, people always talk about, oh, I need power seats. You can't reach your hand down and scoot this thing backwards and forwards and do the lever thing. Oh, but, you know, I drive, then my wife drives, and I drive. And it's like, are you that lazy? Are you that lazy that you have to have a button, memory seat button to press? I get that it's convenient, but I don't know, it's not that bad. I actually find that I prefer, personally, manual seats, especially if it's me and my wife driving a car, because I found that like the power seats are so slow. It's like I have to just sit there and wait for it to go, right? Versus like a manual seat, just grab it, throw that sucker back, pop in, and then maybe readjust one. Like it's so much more convenient in a lot of ways. Like the worst, I'm glad that I don't use it all that often, but our Sequoia has power rear seats for the third row, and it's like, and it's like, just give me a latch. Let me throw that thing down at 1,000,000 miles an hour. That's what I prefer. Yeah, the more that I live with like modern tech stuff, the more that I just like basic, because it always works. That's a really important thing. It always works. It never lets you down, very rarely. And it seems like it's quicker. It's like it's more effort, but it's quicker. And I think that's like kind of the thing in life, right? The things that give you less effort, it's always like lower quality a lot of the times, and then it's not as fast. You gotta wait. It's like you gotta wait to be lazy. It's like I'd rather be not lazy and all that. Some of you guys think about this truck. It's a nice truck. It's insulated. It's got good power. You don't need more than this. Some of you might wonder, this versus the Warlock. I'm thinking. I think Warlock. I think I'd rather have the Warlock over this. But if you're not going to do any off-roading ever, save a few bucks and get this. But if you're like me and you're going to do a little bit of off-roading with the truck, yeah, the Warlock. The Warlock is definitely the way. I think that's a better value. So, answer that question right out of the gate. That's all.